Thank you very much indeed. See you again. Beautiful. Child of God, he was walking along the road, and I asked him, where are you going? This he told me. Well, I'm going down to Young's Bar, gonna join in a rock and roll band. Nap out on the land and set my soul free. We are stars.
Let's get started with raising the energy of this room with one big family. If you know the song, great. If you don't, you'll learn it real fast, and the lyrics are now going to be up on our screen. Hit it. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Repeat that. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Right. So, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Tucson New Thought. We are a spiritual community that gathers every single Sunday to know one thing and one thing only. And I'm going to tell you today, it's not that you are magnificent, although you are, but there is actually one thing that we teach here. One thing. Do you know what that is? We are love. That's what we teach here. We are love. We are the expression of love. Love is the creative energy of the universe, and that is what we celebrate here every single Sunday. So I want to say I am so grateful that you have decided to come and share the love with me today. We are here to create a world that works for everyone. That is the vision of Tucson New Thought, and we do this by providing practical tools, practical spiritual tools for personal transformation, and thereby we awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Everyone at any point of their spiritual path is welcome. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, one thing that I've been saying recently a lot more is that connection is why we are here. Connection, not just in this space, not just in this organization, but in life. We are here to connect with other people. We are here to understand that we are all in a place where we don't have to be in competition. We can be in cooperation with one another, and cooperation that is rooted in love. And so let's let that be at the core of our minds and hearts today. One thing I want to let you know as I do, and actually, maybe I'll do this. There are people who are in the room for the first time today. I don't require that you stand up and make yourself known, although there will be people who will recognize that you are new in the room today. But what I would like for all of us to do, if we have been here before, is to let the new people know what we know about them, and that is, you are magnificent. You are magnificent, and we know that about you because we know that about ourselves. And when we see people in our lives, they're a reflection of who we are. So when we say you are magnificent, we are claiming for ourselves as well that we are magnificent. I am magnificent. So let's all of us claim for ourselves, those who've been here before and those who are new, I am magnificent. I am magnificent. Beautiful. I would love for you to greet your friends and neighbors. Let them know their magnificence in your own unique, personalized way. And I want to let everyone online know that I see you, and I am so grateful that you've decided to join us this morning. Would love to know that you are here, so send us a comment, let us know. And if you feel so compelled, we would love for you also to share this video and let other people join with you this morning. Or if you're watching on the archive, we'd love for you to, let people know that as well. I'm grateful that you're here. You are magnificent.
Love, faith, and belief.
Glorious, thank you. As we take our seats, I'd like to draw your attention to the candle that is lit on the table there. This is the peace candle, which I have decided to take into part of our expression every single week, as we see so much in the world that seems antithetical to peace. We are rooted in peace right here and right now in our own heart. So as we reflect on peace and the illumination of peace in our lives, I invite you to take into your heart this modified prayer of protection by James Dillett Freeman. Truly the light of peace surrounds us. The love of peace enfolds us. The power of peace protects us. And the presence of peace watches over us. Wherever we are, peace is. The other candles that we light this morning, we light as a ceremonial honoring of all religious paths, all faith traditions, all spiritual philosophies, recognizing that at the core, each and every one of them is rooted in one thought, one idea, and that is that love is the golden thread that infuses itself in all of them. And so we light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the divine will of love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them, and for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony. And the final candle we light is a candle to represent the healing of any circumstance that requires divinity to be revealed. This is your candle. This is to illuminate whatever is in your mind and in your heart that requires the light. I'm going to invite Anita to join us.
I have to stop tearing up. That was amazing. Give me a second.
Okay.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva Om Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva Om Namah.
Right here, right now, in this perfect moment, I allow myself to be rooted in this knowledge that there is one power, one presence, one infinite creative resource. There is only one thing going on. It is the creative energy of love. And this is what we stand for. This is what we know. This is what we take into our hearts right here and right now, that love is the only thing there is. Trusting this, knowing this, and allowing this knowledge to infuse my mind, I invite each and every one of us to do the same, to allow it to infuse our mind with this knowing that if love is all there is, this is true for each and every one of us, that we are this love. We are the impression of love and the expression of love, that there is absolutely no separation. There is only this goodness, only this flow, only this light. And so knowing this and allowing this to be the core of my thinking at all times, I know the word I speak right here and right now is a word that is rooted in this knowledge. And so I speak my word on behalf of all people to know that we are the center of peace. We are the center of beauty. We are the center of life. We are the center of light. We are the center of power. We are the center of joy. Everything is unfolding harmoniously, magnificently, and with deep wisdom at its core. This is true for all of us. And so I know that there is a flow that is unfolding itself more and more and more as we evolve into the next expression and the next expression and the next expression of our magnificent lives. Knowing this, trusting this, and allowing this, it is with great, deep gratitude that I simply say, yes, 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 it is so. And knowing it to be so perfectly, easily, and effortlessly, I release this word and know that it is returned to me fully formed. I trust, I know, I release, let go, and simply allow, as together we say, and so it is.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva Om Namah. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva Om Namah.
I'm having this moment. Oh, you probably should have stayed up here. Yeah, it's okay. It actually goes in line with what I'm about to say. I'm having this moment of having to reconsider everything that I have become so accustomed to when we were in a different position before. Now it's all very different, but I'm getting accustomed to it, and I love it. I'm going to step on this side of you.
I've grown accustomed to your space.
One of the things that I am deeply grateful for is the wisdom that we all get to share. And I have recently started this practice of inviting people to take a quote that I have been sending to them and allowing it to resonate with them for a few days. And then they get to come read that quote and reflect on it themselves. It occurs to me, are you going to be okay holding this?
Nope.
All right, then I'm going to put it on a stand. And yeah, and I will have you, let's see. Are you able to read that? Okay. Sorry, we're going through a moment here.
We're having okay. Oh, that's good. That's good. All right.
So I've sent this quote to Anita a little
It's
while
been
back,
percolating.
and it's been percolating, and she has some awesome wisdom to share with us. So please,
No pressure.
hey, wisdom is awesome no matter what.
That's true.
So please
That's
welcome
true.
Anita
All right.
Summers.
Thank you. All right, this was particularly timely for me. First, no coincidences. So the quote I got was, "Where your mental attention goes, your emotions follow. This is a basic truth that any person wishing to use this science must know." Memorize it now. So I'm going to read it again. Where your mental attention goes, your emotions follow. This one statement may be the very key you are seeking to change situations in your life. Mind is the only creative power, and mind is a field of interaction between thought and feeling. A wise teacher often stated that good and evil were opposite ends of the same stick. Your mind is at the center of that stick, and your attention determines which way your consciousness moves. So I kind of went two directions in this. And the first direction it took me was thinking about what actually causes our feelings. So when I was a child, born in 57, so 60s, 70s, the cultural message was we don't have any control over our feelings. Other people and situations cause our feelings, and we don't have any control over that. So the corollary is, therefore, I also am responsible for other people's feelings, especially if they get mad. It's my fault. So then I became a psychology major in college, and I had a little bit of an upgrade. We can't control if or when we have them, but we have a choice about what to do with them. So yay, there's a little improvement right there. But still, other people and situations make us feel the way they do. So somewhere in my late 20s, I had a serious conversation with myself because this really didn't make any sense with me. And I was really fighting the idea that my happiness, basically I was a victim, and that my happiness was going to be completely dependent on the whims of people around me for the rest of my life. I really did not like that. I was not comfortable with that. But I didn't really have an alternative model yet. I didn't have something to put in that space instead. Slow down. Okay, slow down. So, thank you. So spending 14 years with a first husband who constantly blamed me for his anger and how he expressed it, it just kind of deeper integrated that whole thing that I'm responsible. But at the same time, this thing started coming up in my head about logically, I'm not a masochist and I'm not a sadist. So if I really did have control over other people's feelings, why would I have them scream at me every day? Like, that's not something I would do, because he's obviously miserable, I'm obviously miserable, so this can't be the way it really works. So with the second husband, who was very similar, I fought the idea that I was responsible for his feelings, and when I would try to point out to him that the degree to which we refuse to accept responsibility for our feelings is the degree to which we will always be a victim, he would just get madder and say, you're just trying to avoid responsibility for what you've done. And I wanted to go, mirror, mirror. So even with the awareness that there's some model that we're not victims. Early in the marriage with William then, AKA the keeper, I think as you all know, when he would resist accepting responsibility for feelings, I would still immediately switch into, he's upset, it's my fault, what do I do, what can I do to fix it? Because I felt, because of all these messages throughout my life, that I somehow should be able to micromanage the environment, change myself somehow, twist myself into big enough knots that I could get it to stop. So after many discussions, arguments, and hours spent in therapy, we've both gotten clear that although the other person can definitely do something or say something that triggers us, there are triggers. We are responsible for them and for how we handle them. So even though our thoughts and stories do determine what those feelings will be when we get triggered, there are thoughts and stories, and we are the only one who has any power to do anything about them. So the good news is it's our responsibility, and the bad news is it's our responsibility. Because if you're responsible, you can't be a victim anymore. But if you're responsible, it means you can completely do something about them. So in moments of higher clarity, we welcome these triggering moments as gifts, as indications of something unhealed that we're now aware of, and that we can now choose to do something about. So now approaching this from the slightly other direction. Sometime after I got into the relationship with William, I looked back at my previous marriages and I realized I had become completely obsessed with focusing on what was wrong. What jerks they were, how mean they were, how unhappy I was, how unfair things were, and that's all I focused on most of the time. And guess what? Surprise, surprise, I was miserable, and I actually developed a stress-related illness that literally started to kill me in 2003. So clearly, how did that work for me, right? But I realized, beside the fact that William is a much more wonderful, better husband and person to live with, much easier. He says it's because I set the bar so low the first 2 times, but he really is wonderful. Because I wasn't in a permanent state of flight or fight with him, I was able to step back and calm down, and I've gotten much both of us have gotten much better at being able, when we get triggered, to step back and go, okay, what's going on? And it's much easier for now, it's very easy for me now to much more quickly make that effort to switch gears and focus on the positive instead of getting caught up in those obsessive negative loops again, which hurt me so badly. It's a lot easier for me now, looking back, to see the direct effects of focusing on the positive versus the negative. But I have to admit, I have to be honest, this is not happening so much in my broader life. Some years ago, I got heavily into Abraham Hicks for some months, and I was extremely successful at just focusing on positive things. That muscle was very practiced, activated at when I would start to think of something negative, I would immediately turn it around. And I had a very challenging summer a couple of years ago, and then health things cropped up again, and I haven't been doing it. And so what's interesting for me about getting this now is I kind of feel like this is spirit going, okay, remember this, remember how good it is and how easy it was. And when I put my attention on doing that, when I made that as my commitment, it wasn't that difficult. So I now recommit. Thank you, Jonathan, for the homework. I now recommit to doing this again, starting this again very intentionally.
I'm going to invite you to take a look at the cover of your program. One of the things that she has talked about is this very notion that each and every one of us is a creative thinker. Our thoughts create our experience. And so let us allow that to be at the core of our recitation of the monthly affirmation, which is right there. I'm going to read it once, and then let's all read it together. It reads like this. I am a creative thinker, and my creative thought expresses as me magnificently. So let's read that together, and let's do it with some feeling. I am a creative thinker, and my creative thought expresses as me magnificently. One more time. I am a creative thinker, and my creative thought expresses as me magnificently. Indeed, it does. I am always so grateful to not be the only musician in the room and to allow other people to get up and sing. And today we have a very special guest singer who is celebrating. It's actually tomorrow, right? Tomorrow's Monday. I'm like, am I? Yeah. Tomorrow he is celebrating his 34th anniversary of his 39th birthday. You do the math. And he is going to regale us with a magnificent song today. Please welcome Darwin Hall.
Thank you, Jonathan. This is because most of you won't be here this evening. In fact, all of you except for one will be. I'm a finalist at Oro Valley's Got Talent. Hey. And the finals are this evening, and all the tickets were sold out, and we just the two of us barely got tickets for ourselves. We got the last two table tickets. So this is the song I will be singing as my final song. This is the moment, this is the day, when I send all my doubts and demons on their way. Every endeavor I have made ever is coming into play, is here and now today. This is the moment, this is the time, when the momentum and the moment are in rhyme. Give me this moment, this special chance. I'll gather up my past and make some sense at last. This is the moment when all I've done, all of my dreaming, scheming and screaming become one. This is the day, see it sparkle and shine. when all I've lived for becomes mine. For all these years I've faced the world alone, and now the time has come to prove to them I've made it on my own. This is the moment, my final test. Destiny beckoned, I never reckoned second best. I must not fall, I will never look down. Moment for moment, this is the sweetest of them all. This is the moment, damn all the odds. This day or never, I'll sit forever with the gods. When I look back, I will recall, moment for moment, this was the moment, the greatest moment of them all.
Darwin Hall. Thank you.
Just Darwin. Just
Oh, it's Darwin. It's just Darwin.
Just Darwin.
Okay, you will always be just Darwin.
Share Elvis Darwin. Until
Oh.
50 Cent.
Well, that makes me laugh because there are a number of people. My name is Jonathan Zenz, and there are a number of people who call me Jay-Z, which now has a lot of, I have a lot to live up to, but I always say I was Jay-Z before Jay-Z was Jay-Z. Sometimes you just have to take the moment, take it in, and allow yourself to feel what you feel. That was beautiful. Thank you. I love that song, and it's from a Broadway musicale called Jekyll and Hyde. And as many of you know, I have a history in the theater, specifically in musical theater. And so whenever anybody wants to do a musical theater song, bring it on. If you want to do any other songs, let me know. Bring it on. Why not? I'm here to open it up and let us all share in this experience of community. This is the moment. This is the moment. This is the moment. Really hear that? There is nothing else that exists. We put a lot of weight into those things that have preceded us, our past, and we lug our past with us, right? We lug it with us, and it weighs us down to the degree that we are not willing to set it down and move forward with the reflection of, this is the moment, right here and right now. The moment is now. Are you willing to lay those things down that no longer serve you? It's exactly what you're talking about. We have a responsibility, and I always do that work in pronouncing it that way. We have a responsibility to let go of the things that no longer serve us and to step into a life that is evolutionary and filled with love as love. And as we do this, as we do the spiritual work that is required, because this is spiritual work, I started off with this being really intellectual work. Oh, I know, I can read a book and know how it's going to work in my life. But it doesn't mean anything if the intellect does not infuse itself in the heart from a loving perspective. My life changed dramatically when I made that shift from intellect to emotion, allowing myself to feel what needed to be felt. this is the moment. I'm willing now to let go of anything that does not serve me and move forward with a new consciousness of love and light at the core of my being. And I trust from that perspective that I don't need to live in anxiety about what is to unfold, because when I am rooted in this moment in love and light, what unfolds must be in alignment with that perfectly. But I also, as I lug the past with me, I can also be suppressed by this anxiety that I fear about what might be. It's a delicate balancing act that we are always engaged in. So I'm going to ask a question. It is a rhetorical question. Or maybe not. We'll see if anybody yells out an answer. So last week I gave homework. And it was not the homework I intended to give, but I gave some homework. The homework was to say yes to everything this weekend. Boy, there were some people who it freaked them out. But now I want you to reflect on, what did that do for you this week? What came up for you this week that you may have had a catch in your throat as someone invited you to do something? I have to say yes. Yes. What did that then do? How did your life unfold in a way that is unexpected and perhaps even better than you could possibly have imagined? Because I'll tell you, my life unfolded in a magnificent way this week because I was willing to lead with yes. I was willing to lead with yes. Yes, I have a willingness to step into this, to be something that I have never been before, to experience something I have never experienced before. Oh, felt so good. And then I had somebody ask me a question. I'm not going to name any names, but somebody asked me a question last night. And the question was this: so does saying yes end at midnight? Hey, you outed yourself. And I answered, saying yes never ends. Saying yes never ends. It is my decision in this moment to continue to say yes. However, there is a caveat now. There is a caveat, and that is this: sometimes saying no is the best yes you can give to yourself. And that's really important. You have to know where you are. You have to know what is right for you. But it takes the work, it takes the spiritual work, the spiritual mental work to truly come to a deep understanding of what is right for you, so that you are always led in the direction of your intuition and not just your instinct. Because that's what we're talking about here. Our instinctual habit is to run. Sometimes we need to let go of the instinct and lay into the intuition that says something new is about to blossom. And although it may feel scary in this moment, I'm going to be in a place of willingness to allow that to unfold. And the moment for that is now. The moment for that is now. We don't talk about, I didn't look at her notes. We don't talk about what anybody is going to say up here. I love to be inspired and surprised in the moment myself. And that also what goes with that is that if anything is said that feels off principle to me, I will correct it. So far that hasn't happened because I live in trust and I live in faith. And I'm going to keep doing that. But you brought up exactly what needed for me to be expressed today, and that is the value of emotion and the value of feeling in our lives. What is the value of emotion and feeling in the work that we do? This may not be a rhetorical question. What is the value of feeling in the work that we do from a spiritual perspective? We do spiritual work here. The work that we do is in mind. The primary tool that we use to do the work we do in mind is affirmative prayer. I'm really moving away from calling it spiritual mind treatment because it's so jargony, and then if you're new here, you won't know what the heck I'm talking about when I say spiritual mind treatment. That just sounds wonky, right? Affirmative prayer has one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to change our minds. That's it. We usually approach it with the idea that we want to change something in the world of circumstance. But the world of circumstance is a reflection of what's happening in our minds. That's cause. Mind is cause. The world of circumstance is effect. So if our causative mind is creating the effect, we should never be working to change the effect. We should always be working to change the cause. But what is the value of feeling in that work that we do? I will suggest it is this: our thoughts and our beliefs. Our thoughts plus our beliefs. I've used this equation before. Thought plus belief to the power of feeling creates our experience, creates the quality of our experience. So if the power of our feeling is not very highly resonant, it is not very high in that vibratory nature, if that's the quality of if that is our feeling, then the quality of our life is going to be in alignment with that, no matter what the circumstances look like. When we approach life from the point of view that joy is the core feeling, that happiness is the core feeling, that we are always having that available to us, then that is a higher vibratory feeling. The thoughts plus beliefs create the circumstances based on that high vibration, and everything feels more joyful. The quality of our life is lifted up. One of the things that we must do is to begin to eliminate judgment, judging things as good or bad. What if everything just was? What if we understood that everything that exists just is? It just is, and we took away our judgment of the circumstances. What if we let that go? Eliminated it entirely, decided it was no longer necessary to judge the things in our life. What might that look like? That is rhetorical. In this philosophy, we claim that all circumstances, all experiences, everything in the world of form is divine. It is the expression of an energy of love. That love is so strong that it expresses itself in form as us, as the circumstances of our lives, as everything that we encounter. And I always like to go to this, right? Because everybody says, well, I can understand how we can claim that, living creatures are divine, living creatures are God. Living creatures are this thing, this energy of love, this creative energy. But the lectern? Yes. Yes. The lectern is energy in form. And it was a divine idea that allowed the lectern to show up in this way. But one of the things we can do is we have these feelings and emotions that come up that we would judge as negative. Has anyone ever felt sadness? Has anyone ever felt upset? We judge those things as negative things. And this happens a lot in these spiritual centers, where we do ourselves a disservice by judging those types of emotions, trying to suppress them, to say, oh no, I've been taught in my spiritual center that I should only ever be happy. Well, we have two sides of the same coin. What if we stopped judging those things and recognized that there is power within them? There's something to be learned within them. And when we learn it, we actually then tip the scales to what we would like to experience. But what happens is if we suppress those feelings so much, we shove them down and shove them down and shove them down, what they're doing is they're become rooted at a cellular level, and they are continuing to create the expression of our lives. Because the degree to which we try to suppress them is the degree to which we keep them active in our thinking process, which is prayer. Thinking is prayer. And as we keep them active in our thinking process, that's the way our life shows up. So we would like to think, right, that we try to suppress those emotions as something other than divine. Sadness, anger, upset, whatever. Those are divine emotions. Those are divine feelings, and they are there for a purpose. So let's begin to honor them when they show up with the recognition that we are in charge and we don't need to allow them to take over our lives. Here's one of my tools. I know it will shock you, but I have had disagreements with my husband. Right? I'm sure no one here ever has disagreements with their partners if you're in a relationship, or in any relationship. I'm sure you never have disagreements, right? I have disagreements with my husband, and these disagreements have at times led to rather heated discussions. And I'm a pretty strong person, so I lay my claim and right? Dig into it. One of the things, so there are two things that I have learned to utilize in my life. Number one is, irrespective of the feelings that I'm feeling, he did nothing to make me feel that way. And so I step out of my place of trying to get him to take responsibility for my feelings. Oftentimes, the fights that we have, those are us trying to get the other person to take responsibility for our feelings. Again, I'm sure nobody here does that. That was a big lesson for me to learn. A big lesson for me to learn. The other part of that, the other thing that it was really important for me to learn was, number one, to step away. Sometimes you need to step away. Go through your own processing. Don't process with the other person. Allow yourself to go through your own process. And then have an intelligent conversation around what's going on for you. One of the lessons, that is a lesson I learned by becoming a minister. In ministry, and I sort of veered off this a couple weeks ago when the shootings happened in El Paso and Dayton. One of the things I learned as a minister is whatever's coming up for you that is a lesson you need to learn, you should never talk about it from the pulpit, here. I can see it happening. We have cough drops if you'd like cough drops. You're welcome. Where was I? Yes, so we in ministry, I learned you never actually process in front of your community. That's a destructive thing. It's a very destructive thing. And when I was talking about the shootings, when I was talking about those things, there was maybe a little hint of processing, but I will say that I worked really hard that morning to move past the processing and get to the spiritual truth of the situation. But we must do this in our interpersonal relationships. Do the processing that you need to do first before you have the conversation. I guarantee you it's going to increase the experience of your relationships exponentially. Exponentially. So there's a lot of value in honoring that we are going to have negative emotions and not suppressing them. Are you willing to do that? But not let yourself get overrun by emotions. So here's the other lesson that I have learned in that. If I am upset, I self-reflect and I say, you know what, I'm really upset in this moment. Oh, I'm upset. I'm really upset. And then I say to myself, how long do I want to carry this? How long do I want to carry this? And this is not about suppressing the emotion. It's about allowing yourself to go through the emotion, go through the feeling, and allow yourself to get to the other side of it. And so what I do, here's a little tip. I give myself a time frame. I limit myself. I say, you know what? I have this emotion. I'm experiencing this. I'm upset, and I'm going to allow myself to feel this for the next hour. I'm just going to allow myself to go through what I need to go through to get to where I need to get, and I'm going to allow myself 1 hour to do it. The mind says, oh, okay, so I can do all of this processing in an hour. That's the way treatment, prayer works. My mind says, yes. The law says, yes, you have 60 minutes. Done. Typically what happens, I'll tell you, this is the secret. Typically what happens, within about 10 minutes, I've done all the processing because I've given myself the opportunity to do it. I have not said, nope, I don't want to feel that. I've given myself the opportunity to move gracefully through the experience. When is the time to do that? What moment is the time to do that? The moment is now. Because we are only ever in this moment. So with that said, we should probably see what Spirit has to offer today. So those of you who don't know, one of the things that I do is I do a random drawing that leads me to a page number of whatever book I am utilizing. Jerry, would you draw a number for me? And so the page that I am going to today is page 73. 73. Interesting. 73. So the book that we've been using this entire month is The Power of Decision, which I tell everybody is my favorite book within this philosophy. It is the book that I always invite people to read first if you are new to the philosophy, The Power of Decision by Raymond Charles Barker. Ha ha! And it never fails. This is under the heading, Your Right to Happiness. There are 3 paragraphs from which to choose. Which paragraph should I go to? 2? Okay, I'm just going to give you a fair warning. We're doing some biblical quotes now. In the book of Job, we read, the sons of God shouted for joy, and Jesus stated, these things I have spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. These are but 2 of the many biblical, the second part is from John. These are but 2 of the many biblical statements on the subject of joy. If you have a Bible concordance, look up the words joy and happiness. You will be amazed to find a large number of passages in the Bible that state that joy and happiness are spiritual states that everyone should have in his day-to-day living. Old theological beliefs still have subconscious power, even when the intellect has dismissed them. What's really fascinating to me is I don't know if you watch my daily videos during the week. It was actually this page that I inadvertently turned to, and that last part I used on Friday. Old theological beliefs still have subconscious power, even when the intellect has dismissed them. Do you believe that joy is rooted in your heart? And do you believe that you can simply uncover your heart and allow joy to be the point of view from which you express at all times? Everybody's like, I don't really know how to answer that, because I'm not saying, oh yeah, and I'm not saying no. Everybody's kind of like thinking about it. I didn't say it was rhetorical this time. It does, it depends on the moment, but the only moment that exists is now. One of the things he's touching on here, you know, when the first sentence of this section says, do you actually believe that you have the right to be happy? Do you actually believe that? Do you have a feeling so rooted at the core of your soul that is exponentially addressing your belief that says, the belief says, happiness is at the root of my soul, and I have a feeling about that that is going to uplift me into the experience of happiness at all times. Do you have that? It's okay if you don't. That is rhetorical. Can you imagine? No, I don't have that. Where did the idea come from that that should not be part of your experience? Again, rhetorical. Okay, the rest of the questions are most likely going to be rhetorical unless I say otherwise. Where did you decide that happiness could not be your point of view and your expression of life? Where did that decision come into play? Where did that decision come into play? Now, he's speaking about, because we're in essentially, what is registered with the IRS as a church, we are in a spiritual center that is saying everything that you believe becomes your reality, becomes your experience. The truth is, if you were raised in a faith tradition, any faith tradition where you have incorporated core beliefs from that faith tradition that may not have served you in a way that says, you are magnificent, you are worthy, you do not require salvation. You do not require salvation. I want everyone to hear that. You do not require salvation. You are love and light embodied right here and right now. That's the core truth. But there are faith traditions that would have us believe something else. We can let those go. but we have to become aware of them. We have to know at the core of our heart. We have to know. We have to lay into that belief from a feeling perspective that says, I know I do not require salvation because there is nothing from which I need to be saved. And if I believe there's something from which I need to be saved, here's what I know. It is only my own erroneous thinking because my thoughts create my experience. That's it. Now, when he utters the name of Jesus, Jesus of Nazareth here, this is what Jesus was showing us. This is what Jesus was teaching. This is what Buddha was teaching. That understanding that at the core of each and every one of us is that light, is that life. And we get to decide what to do with it. It is what Muhammad was teaching. It is what Moses was teaching. It is what is at the core of Hinduism. It is what is at the core of all faith traditions. There is that which is within us, which is so powerful and so great, that when we truly get it, when we remember who we are, life exponentially gets better. So, if you are ready for joy, if you are ready for happiness, if you are ready for these things in your life, the moment to experience them is now. This is the moment. Right here, right now. Taking a breath. I'm going to invite us all to relax right where we are. And settle in to this perfect moment of reflection. Right here and right now, there's a power and a presence and an energy of light and life. And that is all there is. This thing, this immense divine spiritual thing is all that exists. The entire universe is the manifestation of this thing, and this includes each and every one of us. This thing has magnificent attributes of love, light, life, peace, power, beauty, joy, wisdom, harmony. Everything is in balance. At the core of this thing, all is in balance. Each and every one of us is this thing expressed right here and right now. We are this thing. We are love. We are life, and we are light. Trusting this, knowing this, and simply relaxing into this assured knowledge, settling ourselves into this and breathing into this knowing. I trust and know that each and every one of us, at the core of our being, lives a life of joy, lives a life of happiness, lives a life that is magnificent, absolutely magnificent, for it is rooted in the absolute. It is absolutely magnificent. I know that all experiences are rooted in the now. And so right now, I allow. Right now. Trusting this, knowing this, allowing this, and with deep resonance in my heart of gratitude and love, I simply allow it to unfold. As I release, let go, I simply allow and trust in the flow, as together we say, and so it is. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we is a blessing to the world. We're a blessing to the world. Thank you, Anita. Did you think that you were going to get away today without homework? Here's the homework. With love and joy rooted in your heart this week, I want you to find one small action that you will do this week to support a world that works for everyone. You get to decide what that means. One small action rooted in love and joy that is in support of a world that works for everyone. That's the homework. I'm going to invite up my friend and a grand supporter of this magnificent thing we're doing here, William Summers, to talk to you a little bit.
Good morning. I was going to write something down, and I thought, from what Jonathan said, you know, I need to leave that piece of baggage behind because I'm not going to write anything down for this little thing. For me, most of my life, this part of the service, I felt like this was a shakedown. We're going to pass this basket around, we're going to get some money, and, you know, we're going to do whatever we're going to do with it. And going into my heart, I was like, for me, this isn't even really a collection. For me, this is a giving. And yes, I give because I like to activate the law of circulation, but going into the feelings that we were talking about today, I give because I love this wonderful home that I can come to on Sundays. I give so that I can feel the love that's in this room, the friendships that's in this room. I give so people online that are unable to attend are able to view this message. And many of you give back so that we are able to be here, and I thank you. So when the basket comes around, don't give because you think you have to. Give because it's just a wonderful thing to do. In your bulletin is, oh, it's up on the screen too. Okay, I've got a shift also. Is our giving statement. I'd like you to read it with me. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, prosper, and bless. It is evidence of my conviction that Spirit is the source and substance of my supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my spiritual center, knowing that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, William.
As the basket is going around, I want to let you know a couple of things that are happening here at the center. There is a flyer, actually. There's a flyer on the table. If you have thought about potentially joining me and Reverend Steph St. Amand in our monthly online discussion group called the Conscious Coffee Connection, we are next meeting this coming Tuesday at 9 a.m. And all you have to do, there's a link that, there's a URL on this page. But if you'd like to just link to it, it's also on the home page of the TucsonNewThought.org website. But we'd love to see you there at 9 o'clock. It is an open discussion forum, and if you have a microphone and a camera on your computer, you will be able to speak to us and see us, and we'll be able to see you and speak to you, and it's a great time that we have. So that's on Tuesday at 9 a.m. I am also going to be teaching a class, 3-week class, September 8th, 15th, and 22nd, called Discover You. If you are ready to go deeper than Sunday mornings, then join me on Sunday afternoons and we will go deeper. One of the things that comes up is I have a great opportunity to talk to you a lot, but I don't have the opportunity to speak with you a lot. Class is the opportunity where you get to ask the questions that come up for you and put me on the spot to have to answer them. You know what the yes is in your heart that is right for you, William. So I'd love for you to join me there. The flyer was in your program when you came in. It is also, you can find it on the website if you're watching online. It's all on our website, TucsonNewThought.org. I'm just going to keep saying that, right? Also, September 1st, I'm inviting everyone to remember to join Center for Spiritual Living Tucson and Unity of Peace for Amy Steinberg's concert, which is at September 1st. It's at, what time is it?
10:30. Oh, sorry.
No.
Concert's at 2 to 3:30.
Concert is at 2 to 3:30 at Unity of Peace. Amy Steinberg is a dear friend of mine, and you are going to be she's going to knock your socks off. Her music is really great. Right, Pop? Yeah, he knows Amy too. Also, I would love for you all to join me at the Beat Cancer Boot Camp Festival, which is on September 7th. It is a Saturday. Yes, thank you, Carol Merrill. It is a Saturday, and we'll start at 8 a.m. I'm going to be one of the speakers. Carrie-Mon is going to be one of the speakers, and it's a great big outdoor festival that is being put on by our friend Anita, who is more lovingly known as Sarge, who runs the Beat Cancer Boot Camp. So join us there. And another, not this Anita, another Anita, yeah. If you have a request for prayer support, we have prayer treatment requests, which are on the table over here. When you have filled that out, you can put it right into that lovely yes box and know that the work is done. Also, if you are joining us for the first time today, and if you have not already signed up for our mailing list, we'd love for you to provide your email address, and we will put you on our list. But the first thing you get are some spiritual tools from me, and you will also get 5 pre-recorded prayers that you can listen to and allow yourself to sink into. So that would all be coming your way. Also, we welcome your support in letting everyone know about Tucson New Thought, because I think what we have here is something incredible, and I would love to grow and grow and grow and grow. What do you say? Yeah! If you would, please bring that up for me, Carrie-Mon. And let's just settle into this knowledge right here and right now that what has been collected here, you can bring it up. I want to bless it all. That what has been collected here is a blessing. It is rooted in love, for it is the expression of love. For what I know is that money is love in action. It is God in action. It is an expression of this infinite divine power, this infinite divine energy, this infinite divine resource that we talk about here all the time. And so I know that this is simply a reflection of that. And knowing this, I know that it is utilized for the highest and the best by this organization, by the Leadership Council. I know that it is moving through this time in this place to maintain its place in the law of circulation, and it flows and flows and flows, and it allows us to flow and flow and flow. So knowing this, trusting this, and allowing this with deep gratitude in my heart, I simply say it is so, as together we say, and so it is. Thank you so much. I want to thank Aiden for our technical support today. Yes, always, always, always. I want to thank Marvis for being our greeter this morning. Thank you for helping out. Who brought our snacks today? Marvis brought snacks, and you brought a cake, right? You brought cake. So Darwin had his birthday party last night, and he brought leftover cake for everyone to share. Grateful for that. He doesn't want to take any of it back home, so we have to eat all the cake. You have to say yes. You have to know the yes that is right in your heart. I want to thank Anita for singing, but also providing wonderful insight and wisdom today. Thank you so much. I also want to send a thank you to 3 people who made this really happen in a magnificent way, who spent the entire day here this past Wednesday to come in and help with putting this all together. And that is William Summers, my father, Don Zenz, and although he's not here, my uncle, Greg Zenz, was also here helping out. So grateful. Thank you. Let us give it up for Darwin and his beautiful, magnificent voice today. I am so disappointed that I was not able to get tickets to Oro Valley's Got Talent next year when you go back and you win it all again, because I'm just going to trust and pray that you win tonight. So, that's it. Let's celebrate, let's lift up the energy, and let's take it out with our final song. Here we stand. And the lyrics are going to magically appear. The word has been spoken, the songs have been sung. Our hearts have been opened, together as one. Center of creation, we are divine congregation, we are no separation, we are, here we stand, the power of one hand in hand, we shine like the sun, here we stand, together as one family. The truth has been spoken, the message received. Our hearts have been opened to what we believe. Center of creation, we are divine revelation, we are no separation, we are, here we stand, the power of one hand in hand. We shine like the sun, here we stand, together as one family. Here we stand. It's a little musical interlude here, which I like to shake my body a little bit. You can all shake your bodies a little bit. Center of creation, we are divine revelation, we are no separation, we are, here we stand, the power of one hand in hand. We shine like the sun, here we stand, together as one family. Here we stand, the power of one hand in hand. We shine like the sun, here we stand, together as one family. Here we stand, here we stand, here we stand, here we stand. Have a great week, everyone. Join us for snacks and let's have some great social time.